This is What If Deku Was a Descendant of Sparta Part 2. Let's dive right into it. Before we get any deeper into this what if, what's going on with the subscriber count, bro? Come on, guys, subscribe. But anyways, doesn't really matter how many views I get. I just want to have a lot of people included in the community. So if you're down for the what ifs, drop a like. And let's just continue on with part 2. Let's get into it. So I last left off after Zuku would have aced and more or less would have shown a new form of power doing the entrance exams, him passing it and getting a note from All Might the next following day. Asuka gets ready and is pumped for this as he gets a phone call later that night from Toka. Toka tells him that she's super excited because she got into UA too, and they both passed. And they're both, going to class 1A because Azuku would have been told about his class number. So Azuku was pumped for this, and so is Toka. A little bit too much. Toka's a little weirdo, but she's obsessed with Azuku, so yet again. So we see Azuku and Toka get picked up by Nero actually, as Nero offers to drop off Azuku for his first day at UA. Nero is talking to them in the car, saying that, well, you guys, since you were kids, dreamed of becoming heroes, and now you're going to the top #1 hero academy. Y'all are something special. He starts to yap a little bit as he slams the brakes, as both of them are jolted forwards and asking what the hell, and him proceeding to say, we're here. He drops them off and tells them not to get pregnant and speeds off. Azuku palming his forehead and Toka blushing but also kind of being embarrassed. Azuku just walks past her and tells her that we gotta go and we might be late. That whole 5-minute conversation he had with Nero and the other 30-minute drive they took because Nero was just taking stupid turns and wasn't paying attention to the GPS. So more or less, Azuku eventually finds his way to class 1A, and this is right when Nozawa yells to the class to shut up and stay quiet and get ready for the quirk assessments, or his quirk assessments. They talk a little bit as Ozawa just tells them to get ready and he isn't going to do them too dirty for being late, but if you're late tomorrow, you're getting the belt. So everybody gets suited up and Azuku, Toka, and the rest of the class gets suited up into their hero costumes. Ozawa is watching from afar as everybody gets lined up and asks the top scoring student there, Azuku, to throw the ball as hard as he can. Azuku getting the highest score in the entrance exams as he smirks, saying, so just throw it as hard as I can. Ozawa nodding his head as Azuku gets ready and lunges a huge throw with the ball, sending it flying and almost cracking the sound barrier. Azuku gets a pretty good score actually, and we skim through the rest of the test, and we also skim through the rest of the test with Toka. Toka gets a decent score for the long throw, and most of the scores that, calculate physical strength and speed, Toka doesn't get too good at, but she does get in between medium, considering that she did train vigorously over the 10-month arc train with Azuku. So with that being said, the class just skims through this. As for the scores, Azuku gets a pretty good score for the long jump, acing it, having increased superhuman speed, durability, and strength. So more or less, he breezes through the race, the jump, and the grip test strength. And more or less, Azuku gets the perfect score actually, because surprise, surprise, being the son of Dante and pretty much a super assassin lady gives you a pretty good buff when it comes to your natural skills. So more or less, with Toka getting mid to okay scores. So with that being said, the class is sent back home and the next day begins. The next day rolls along as Azuku wakes up in the morning as he sees Toka watching over him being shocked and saying, what the hell, Toka, why are you in here? Why are you in here? As she says, your mom told me to come in here. We're supposed to, catch the bus this time. And she wanted me to wake you up early. I just couldn't wake you up. You just look so cute sleeping. Okay, Toka, you're a little bit weird right now. I'm gonna go get dressed. Can you get out? As Toka walks out, being kind of flustered, but just, saying sorry and that she doesn't want him to hate her. And Izuku replying that he doesn't hate her and it just threw him off. As they continue on to the bus and catch it to the school. They get to school and they walk into class. As the next couple of minutes, the next couple of hours, the school day goes accordingly. Nothing crazy is happening until the last period when they go into Azawa's class. Azawa isn't there as all of them are just sitting in random desks, talking, yapping, and chopping it up. But eventually get interrupted when they hear huge footsteps coming down the hallway. Azuku looks back as Toka asks, "What's that?" and "What's going on?" As Azuku says, "I don't know." But getting interrupted when a big, bulky, blue suited man rushes into the room, being All Might. "I'm walking through the door like a normal person," as he tells everybody to get ready, and he takes a button, saying that they're going to be doing a little something different, as Azawa's out for the day, but he's going to be training them or looking after them for this project to assess their strength and, well, what the hero suits look on them. Everybody's confused. Azuku actually gets super excited because let's just say he's a little bit overwhelmed when it comes to the drip. His dad's dripped out and sauced out, but Azuku's drip's a little bit different. I don't know for sure. But more or less, the class gets interrupted when a huge click when All Might presses the button opens and a bunch of suitcases from the wall open and reveal themselves to the students. The students go to their respective cases and suits as Suzuku opens his case and smiles ear to ear, Toka saying, "Oh, is that a suit? It looks like your mom's." As Suzuku says, "Well, it's kind of inspired by my mom. I put in a commission for it a while ago and it turned out awesome." And Azuku dons his hero costume after the rest of the class puts on theirs. Azuku donning a suit very similar to his mother's technology. Let me go over a little brief rundown of this suit and how it works. This is basically the fan art I found online that this suit is going to be greatly heavily inspired by. This is basically the exact suit Azuku has on right now. Just imagine the white hair and the different colored eyes for the head part. But nonetheless, Deku's suit capabilities are pretty straightforward. They're pretty much the same, I guess, copy of Dante's wife, or aka lady's suit. More or less, the only thing he can do besides keep Izuku minimal to safe, more or less, he doesn't really need it considering that Izuku has a healing factor that surpasses his father's. So, yeah, the suit is also made out of a highly experimental fabric that the US government had his axis on, and Lady pulled some strings to get it used for Izuku's suit. More or less, this suit heals with Izuku. So if the suit was damaged or scarred up or ripped off of his body, it would regenerate and repair itself, like stitch itself back together. So it's kind of like a symbiote in the way that it can just heal itself. He has to take it off like a normal suit, but more or less, the suit will always heal itself eventually if it was ripped up or blown up. So as long as Suzuku gets all the pieces back together on the suit, more or less the suit would just heal itself. Besides that, that's mainly what the suit does. Nothing else besides Azuku's, well, magnetizing feature. More or less, if you look on the fan art, the little wrist things, those are just like how, well, Lady's technology worked in the Devil May Cry anime. He can pretty much summon two pistols that are on the back of the holsters of his suit, and these two pistols are just like the blasters that Lady wears or Lady has in the Devil May Cry anime. With these being heavily reinforced with some titanium and some metallic alloy that allows it to take a lot of damage, so Deku doesn't rip them apart or pretty much crush them when it's in his hands. Considering that Dante had the same problem before he got Ebidine and Ivory. I think that's what I said it right. I think I said it right. Correct me in the comments. But it also allows him to magnetize his pistols back to him if he ever lost them in combat, or if they were across the room. So that's pretty much the capabilities of the suit, besides it having a comm system and more or less being decently durable for a hero costume. So that's pretty much what it does. Nothing crazy, no jet boots because he doesn't need those, and he can literally jump literal buildings or scale buildings with his bare hands. So Izuku hits on the suit and is super impressed by the quality of it. It's very lightweight and it feels like it's a pajamas. Like it feels like a superhero suit, but it's as light as a pajamas. Like he feels like he can run miles with it. It feels lighter than his normal clothes, so it's pretty cool. It also has the gun system as he turns it on and pretty much attracts his pistols in his hands or his blasters. As Azuku is super pumped as he loves the aesthetic of his mother, but also loves the coolness of his father. So he kind of likes his mom's more military-esque aesthetic, but if we're talking about Azuku's street tier wear, he dresses like an emo. I'm being honest with you. I mean, with that being said, Azuku gets ready and gets suited up, zipping up his outfit as we get switched to Toka. Toka's hero costume is somewhat similar to this. Pretty much but simple. The suit can morph with her and also it can shapeshift into different clothing when she uses her quirk. And it has the same functions as her first iteration of her support gear that she had with the League of Villains, but it's a lot more advanced and also a lot, well, I guess you could say lightweight, and it sucks and preserves blood a lot more efficiently because it's made of a lot more of a higher quality material. So this is very high tech actually, as it's actually employed and actually given by the organization that Lady works for. Lady was able to pull some strings for her son's suit and had a little bit left to put some money towards a project for Toka because she liked Toka and more or less she's been a close family friend. So Toka's been practically family to her and has been Azuku's like literal best friends since they were kids. So what happened is, well, she is ready, and most of the girls are like super pumped up and saying, "Your suit looks awesome. It looks so good." Her saying, "Thank you." It was kind of a gift from Azuku's mom. They all talk and pretty much mutter, saying, "So are you and the white-haired boy Azuku like a thing?" Her saying, "It's unclear yet, but it's going that way. It's happening." And yeah, he's not officially mine yet, but if you girls wanna jab or pretty much, come for him, I'll gut you like a fish. And she's saying that with a full on smile. I mean, she has that a full on smile when she says that. And she's so dead ass too. The whole room kind of does a nervous laugh and says, "Yeah, yeah, that's so funny," as everybody just goes their separate ways. Now Toka gets finished suiting up as we get switched to the rest of the class getting teamed up and paired. Toka's kind of pissed off that she isn't paired with Izuku, but just takes it with the flow, as she's teamed up with Froppy. We get switched to Izuku. Izuku gets ready and starts to do some warm-ups and some stretching before the match starts. The match begins as Izuku tells, well, Chaku to go upstairs and try to throw off Ida. He knows Bakugo would be too brass to just stop and wait, as he more or less will probably rush into a battle, aka come down here alone, just for the thrill of it, or more or less for his own selfish ego. So he tells Uraka to go upstairs because at this point Ida will probably be alone, and try to side blitz him by using your gravitational powers to get past a window in the room and try to catch him off guard. Her taking his advice and saying, "Okay, cool," as she runs off. Azuku gets ready and starts to warm up his suit, turning his suit and his blasters on stun mode as he gets ready to, well, do his thing. Now, Azuku would have started to get in the zone and pretty much would have started to run through floor to floor to floor, eventually coming across Bakugo. The room or the hallway would have gone very eerily silent, as Bakugo would have yelled out and lashed towards Azuku, saying that you were just a worthless, quirkless nobody, and out of nowhere, you came with some crazy gifts and crazy power. Did you lie to me all these years? Did you just let Toka coddle you for so many years? As Izuku said that he manifested his quirk late, as Bakugo yells out saying that's bullshit, and we both know what it is. Nobody can heal like you. I don't understand you. I thought I did. Izuku saying you thought you could just bully me, that's what you thought. You thought you could just walk all over me like I didn't mean anything. We were friends, Bakugo, and you threw it out like it was a piece of garbage. We were friends. I looked up to you. And what did I get in return? Someone trying to bully me day in and day out just because I was born differently. And I wasn't even quirkless all these years. I just manifested my quirk a few months ago. I don't know about you, Kachan, but you're not a good person. and you damn sure will never be a good hero. The classroom is watching this from the comms and watching this from the cameras as Bakugo gets pissed off and saying, "Enough talking, I'm gonna fry you like a fish." Him throwing a huge explosion across the hallway as Izuku dodges it with minimal to no effort as he lunges straight towards Bakugo, kicking him in the forehead and knocking him out into a nearby wall, causing the wall to get a little dent in it. Bakugo gets back up and throws more and more explosions towards Izuku. Izuku dodges and weaves more and more explosions, saying that's all you got. Come on now, I thought you were better than that. As Bakugo would have yelled out with more frustration and more anger behind his lashes and explosions, them getting more intense and more concussive, making Izuku start to sweat as one of them burned his face, knocking him back. Izuku having a huge scar on his face, Bakugo smiling as Izuku smiles back as it starts to heal instantly. Bakugo's confused, looking back, Izuku lunges straight towards him, grabbing him by his collar and throwing him through a wall, causing him to fall and land into another room. Izuku jumps into the room with him and starts to haymaker after haymaker after haymaker towards Bakugo's face. Bakugo tries to fight back, throwing a huge explosion towards Izuku, but Izuku tanks it like it's nothing and grabs Bakugo's wrist and tries to crack it, but just falling himself into some sweat in the gauntlet, saying that's just gross, as he says, "Well, this isn't," as he pulls a pin as the gauntlet on his other wrist is point blank, literal up against Izuku's head, literal range, as the whole room blows up and the floor collapses underneath them. A huge explosion erupts as the dust clears, and as well, all my watching this is confused and baffled. What the hell just happened? He also goes on the intercoms and says, "What are you doing, Kachan? What are you doing, Bakugo? You could have killed him." As Izuku yells back, saying no, he couldn't, even if he wanted to. Izuku gets back up, taking out his blaster, saying that's enough playing around, as he's gonna have a little bit more fun, I guess, with another type of fighting tactic. As he keeps his distance and just starts to let it rip against Bakugo. Bakugo tries to dodge some of the bullets, but getting shot multiple times as it's more on stun, as his muscles are starting to tense up and actually have muscle spasms, as the pretty much stun mode of the blasters simulate muscle atrophy. More or less, if you shoot somebody, right, with the stun mode, the muscles absolutely start to spaz out. Your muscles start to spaz out, your body starts to cramp up. Acha yells out in pain and tries to fight through the pain as he throws another explosion filled with a bunch of adrenaline point blank right in Deku's face. Deku lunges straight towards Kachan, thinking his explosion would be weakened by the stun mode, but getting hit with a full blast, it's sending him back into a nearby pillar, causing him to be halfway burnt to a crisp. Everybody in the room, and All Might included, are completely silent. Toga yelling out as she says, "That's my boy," as everybody's confused, saying, "What the hell are you talking about?" Her saying there's a lot Azuka can take before he actually even gets really hurt. Azuka's starting to slowly regrow his front part of his body as his suit slowly grows with him and regenerates alongside his skin. Azuku gets up from the rubble, chuckling and saying, "That's all you got? I waited so many months to have a full-on real fight with you with my quirk activated. And now, this is what I get? This is underwhelming. I was really expecting a lot more from you, Godsky." As Baku gets up, saying, "Enough talking. I'm gonna burn that smug little face off your body." As Azuku says, "You already did that," and it's right back here. Azuku starts to throw more and more jokes and more quips towards Bakugo, Bakugo getting more pissed and lunging straight towards Azuku. Azuku saying, "I had enough fun," as he lunges straight towards Bakugo, grabbing him by the arm, but Bakugo says, "Enough of that," as he throws a huge explosion, also throwing some of his grenades on the floor, causing a shockwave to happen, causing the floor to collapse, and making them both fall and pretty much tussle with each other, eventually crashing out of the window in the second floor. Izuku and Bakugo start to free fall it as Izuku and Bakugo are falling and falling and falling. Izuku tries to make his Bakugo let go of him, but Bakugo is pissed off even more, trying to fight him mid-air as they're both falling down. They're pretty high up as they're in the air for like a solid 30 seconds now. They're getting closer and closer and closer as Almost about to jump in, but before that can happen, Toka grabs him by the arm saying, "Do you see that? And All Might saying, "What are you talking about, young girl?" As he looks back to the cameras and sees green energy start to emit from Bakugo, or what he thought was Bakugo, but it's actually Izuku. Izuku's back starts to burn and feel like it's on fire, but Izuku's eyes start to glow a bright green energy, with with the rest of his eyes being pitch black. Bakugo seeing this, being kind of scared as he tries to fight back, but Izuku grabbing both of his arms and saying stop squirming as he thinks he can do something right now. Izuku feels something crawling and poking out of his back as a huge sharp pain erupts in his body as two giant wings pop out of Izuku's back. Izuku starts to fly upwards, flying straight up into the sky as a huge shockwave and wind pressure just gets released across the entire building. And as Ida and Bakugo are fighting, a huge shatter of the entire room goes off and the room windows are broken. Bakugo flies straight up deep into the sky as he's right around the clouds, him looking into his wings saying this is awesome as green electricity is oozing towards his body as well. He drops Bakugo. Bakugo gets sent flying as he falls and falls and falls, him freaking out, but he uses explosions to pretty much dampen his fall as he falls pretty harshly on the top roof of the building, knocking himself out, having minimal to no real injuries besides some burns in there. Izuku flies straight towards the building, torpedoing himself down into the top floor, right on top of Ida, taking him down and winning the match. And everybody's pretty impressed by this, saying that I didn't know he can fly, what's going on, as Toka's also very much impressed as well. We're being confused on what's going on. She kind of questions Zuko about it, but Izuku's saying that he didn't even know he could fly, and that it was really just him letting his instincts take over. Azuku is looking around as everybody's kind of pretty much literally meat riding him right now. They're saying this is so cool, man. Like, you flew. That's awesome. As everybody just starts to absolutely gawk at him. With this being said, we see Bakugo just pissed off, and Recovery goes office and looking back and just figuring out what in the hell went wrong. What happened? What what is he? He can't be normal. Now I'm gonna leave out here, guys. So, also, if you're probably wondering how Toka and Froppy's match went, they won. They won. Toka had that dog in her. They won. I'm not gonna narrate that because they just win. There's no real movement to that story. No real gravitational pull to that fight besides Toka actually becoming best friends with Froppy actually. But yeah, I'm gonna leave it up here, guys. Hope you guys enjoyed the video. Hope you guys like and subscribe. As always, guys, have a blessed day. Deuces.